Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. We take a look at the updated chart, a little bit affected by the news around the hack, I guess. You know, there is a few things we can see in the chart that this has been affected, certainly. But yeah, it's certainly not good news if you haven't heard about it. Apparently there's a hack still going on at the moment, to my knowledge, that is causing a lot of Solana hot wallets to be drained. So a lot of the funds that are stored on these Solana wallets are being moved out, and that has created a loss, or led to a loss of more than $8 million worth in Solana, to my knowledge. I could be wrong here, maybe there's an updated number. They, to my knowledge, haven't figured out yet the root cause, which is not good news. And yeah, it's not good news for anybody who's trusting, the hot wallets and crypto. You manage your own keys, but apparently the hackers are getting hold of the private keys, which is not good. Now again, if you know more about that, please let us know in the comments. But as long as we don't really know what the root cause is, we can only speculate. In my opinion, Solana had various issues now as a blockchain. We saw network outages, shutdowns, restarts, now a hack, and I think that is probably the most significant one we had at the moment, or so far, affecting Solana. So it's not good news. It affects the price surprisingly little. Now again, this is always what I say, news can not really affect a price. Well, they can if it's absolutely disastrous news, and if we're in the right environment, negative news can smash a price down, and they can be a catalyst for a move that would have happened anyway. In this case, quite negative news. We don't really see a lot of, not really a major effect on the price, yeah. And I always explain it with prices and news. They can only be a catalyst for a move that would have happened anyway. Let's say you are in a bull market, towards the end of a bull market, and selling pressure increases already. People are looking to take profits. If negative news hit, then they can be an absolutely crazy catalyst for the beginning of a downtrend. If you're already bottomed out, pretty much bottomed out, if an asset is already oversold, I mean, Solana dropped, what is it, 90%? Yeah. What can negative news do? I mean, they can only do so much. What is happening now is buying pressure is actually building. So if you get negative news in a market that has already bottomed out, the effect is minimal. Like the Tesla news about selling Bitcoin hasn't really affected the market, right? There is so much stuff going on that is not negatively affecting the market anymore, or only to, it can only do so much, because there is not really the scope of too much more selling pressure to be built. So however, it has affected the price a little bit, and if we zoom in, we can take a look at that in a minute. But for now, just the higher level wave count, which is remaining unaffected here. Again, it remains the view that we can be carefully bullish here, bullish, especially after today's events. And again, if you're investing in Solana, always be sure you understand the project. That's true with any investment anyway. Make sure you're comfortable investing. What I do here is technical analysis, so I don't factor in news. They can have an effect, but again, they can only change a scenario so much, or they can distort a chart, or they can distort the wave count to a degree. They can't really change a scenario completely. What could happen if you're sitting on the fence between two scenarios? A certain news event can push the market into one scenario, not the other. That's certainly a possibility, but most of the time you don't really see a major effect. But I'm doing TA, and in TA, that's why I only do TA, because when I do TA, that can give me price targets, Fibonacci's, support levels, resistance levels, patterns, the Elliott waves. They can give me price targets. What on earth can a Solana hack give me? Nothing really. So it can only help me understand that maybe a scenario can be maxed out. Maybe if the negative price target is going to $35, maybe in such a negative news event, that can be maxed out, and we talk about that in a minute. But overall, the high level wave count largely unaffected. From the low, we can count a wave 1 to the upside, an impulse, we can count a wave 2 to the downside, and we can be carefully optimistic that we might now be in that wave 3 here. And again, there are waves within waves, so understand that every wave has subwaves as well. But if we're in a wave 3, that would be the bullish viewpoint. That remains my primary expectation until we go below 34.80, and even then we will have to go below 31.83 to really invalidate the main impulse that has happened here. So these are the key levels. For the bulls, the next targets, by the way, needs to be 48.41. Until we get above that level, we can't really become more optimistic. At the moment, I give it a 60% probability for the bullish scenario, the breakout, which means that still 40% probability for another lower low below the low from here. When was it? The 13th of June, which was around just below $26. Now, if we zoom in now to the 1 hour chart, you can see that, the Solana price was largely unaffected. I mean, we saw a red candle here, but for a hack of that magnitude, considering that the cryptos anyway saw a drop here already, so Solana would have dropped anyway. For example, Cardano made also this breakout of the channel, came down nearly to the low. So that is what would have happened anyway if we compared, for example, to Cardano. Cardano did the same thing, and Bitcoin as well. Then the additional drop that we saw was maybe here, what was it, for a short period only, 6.9%. Now that has most of that has recovered anyway already. So you can see there isn't really anything that has too negatively affected it. Now what we talked about is obviously this green reversal area here, and that's where I think this was probably the effect that we saw. Whereas under normal conditions, we could have had expected Solana to reverse in this area, like many other coins reversed already, like Ethereum. Bitcoin seems to be not doing so badly at the moment, Cardano as well. You can see here that Solana tried to break out and reversed actually in this reversal area. However, it then broke down and came through it, and it actually reached the 78.6% fib level. Now that doesn't affect in any way the scenario, the overall scenario. It just means that we maxed out, and we haven't even completely maxed it out because we can go lower in a wave 2, but we have sort of stretched what might have happened under normal conditions, if that makes sense. So we can now look at the possibility that wave 2 might be finished. Still not too optimistic about that. More needs to happen for that. What I would like to happen now is that the price breaks above the previous swing high at 42.40. That would be a good indication that wave 2 is finished. Until then, I'd be careful, especially if more negative news come out, maybe if the hack widens. So just be a bit careful at the moment with Solana, and always be understand what are the current other problems with the network. Like with Solana, we had a lot of outages before. This is nothing that they couldn't fix going forward, but other blockchains, for example, don't have these issues. It's just reality. We need to be careful. And overall, again, if we move above this swing high, we can be more optimistic that the wave 2 might be finished, and we're actually moving up in a wave 3. Until then, we have to focus here on lower, because we have not really made higher highs or higher lows, so we have not broken the downtrend yet. And a good point here would be the breakout of the channel as well. That has moved up a little bit now, so we need to do a bit more work to break out of the channel. If that happened now, we would need to go above 41.30. And that's my update about Solana. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.